We want to find the slope of a line here, and 19, the line has to be parallel to this line right here. And in 20, it's going to be perpendicular to this line. So we have the same line, so why don't we find the slope of this line? Now I'm going to write it right here. Negative 7x plus y equals negative 5. So let's solve for y. So we'll add 7x to both sides, and that will give us y equals 7x minus 5. Now, for problem number 19, we want the slope of the line parallel to this line. You know what? I'm going to write it like this. I'll put a little parallel line. So here's the slope of the line parallel. So here's a fact that's probably somewhat obvious. Parallel lines have the same slope. You know, slope is a measure of the steepness of a line, and if you got two lines, like maybe this one, and they're parallel, they have the same steepness. So they're going to have the same slope. Now, let's look up here. What is the slope? Let's circle that so we can find it. What is the slope of this line right here? Well, we've got the proper form, right? We're in the form y equals mx plus b, and the coefficient of the x is the slope. So the slope here is 7. So the slope of this line is 7. So the slope of our line is also going to be 7. So the slope of the line parallel to that one is 7. Problem 20, we're looking for the slope of the line that's perpendicular to this line, right? We want the line that's perpendicular to it. So we know this. We know that perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. All right, that's a lot of words all in one place. Negative reciprocal slopes. Here's what this means. If the slope of one line is a over b, then all right, so if you have this, if the slope of one line is a over b, then the slope of the perpendicular line is going to be, now let's look at it here, the negative, so it's going to be the opposite sign of the reciprocal. And the reciprocal, you just flip that thing over, so it's going to be b over a, but the negative of that. So for example, just a simple example, suppose that the slope is, say, 4/5. The slope of the perpendicular is going to be negative, take the sign, 5 over 4. If the slope happens to be like negative 3, that's really negative 3 over 1, right, if you write it as a fraction. And that means the slope of the perpendicular would be opposite sign, positive, 1 over 3. Now, the slope of our line over here is 7, all right? So in our particular problem, we're looking at the slope being 7, which is really 7 over 1. So that's going to give us that the slope of the perpendicular is, all right, opposite sign, right, the negative of this, which is going to be negative. Now flip that fraction over. If you flip over 7 over 1, that is, take its reciprocal, you get 1 over 7. There we go.